What Hey, Rob Bot, y'all. We about to get it cracking. Let me get that the intro going. And the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flow lekker.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Hey, y'all. Peace, and love, and have grease. Get them in the building. You don't want to miss this. As always, we got Faise in the dressing room right now, getting ready to bring him out on stage. They freezing us, huh? You know how they do us, man. Hey, Robot. We the hottest in the game right now. If you didn't know, how you do? Like I say, we warming up. We got Faise backstage. Is they still chopping us up? And we got non-stop action over here. We got it on the playlist. We got the new playlist with Faise on there. And while we give it Faise time to come in, let me show you this flyer. We got Faise One backstage, ladies and gentlemen. Faise One backstage. All right. Now, let me show you this flyer. Now, Faise One got 10 books. For you guys that say you hadn't got the books yet, because we get a lot of orders, bear with us. We're going down the list, sending everybody their stuff. So we want to get the 10 books. You will send a donation to Faise at Play for Change and leave your emails in the links in the descriptions. Show you this flyer. I don't know why this computer is running slow. It ain't got nothing on it. It's a brand new computer. Hottest in the game right now, right? We the hottest in the game, the sons of Malachi, right? So you want to get them 10 books by Faise? We got that in the links. You cash app them at Play play for change, right? Leave your emails in the links, man. You're gonna get 10 books, so show him some love. Want to make that quick announcement. All right. As you know, we've been on the green light, bringing the green light to the planet. We showed you the video of the wall painting with the Natharu writing, the hieroglyphics, which is talking about us getting to the green light so we could get picked up. Now, this is part of the process. We got a lot of information out formation, mid formation, transformation, all 4 stages, right? So we crack ahead. Shout out Yahshua Melchizedek in the building. Shout out the 9 guard Sunrise in the building, right? Shout out Katie Drip. Shout out all the 9 guards, man, in the building. But to have Faise come out, man. We got a Faise backstage right now, getting ready, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me clear my throat. It's me. You know what I'm saying? It's me. Yeah, so get your questions ready. We're gonna be going in. You might think this is we're gonna be dissing 19 keys, but we ain't really dissing 19 keys. He just gonna be going in on the scientific meaning behind 19 keys. So everybody that's coming and looking for a fight, be cool, right? Be cool. We ain't out to take nobody down. We out to teach the science. 19 keys sound like the plug to me, right? Let me make sure Faise got the link. Hey, Rabbi. Hey, shout out the first elder. Shout out the first elder, man. Shout out Shoot. If Shoot tuned in, man. Shout out Maurice. Shout out Bodie. Shout out to 12th elder Raguel, man. And his wife. You know what I'm saying? You know how we doing it. We running the game right now, hands down. Who else is doing it? And we about to be shooting movies. Me and Faise, and then we're about to be shooting movies and everything, man. Just stay tuned. He says, I was confused. What you was confused about, Almond? Almond Cookie. What you confused about? Who photo? Why is who photo up there? Oh, 19 keys. Okay, yeah. So, okay, all right. Faise One gonna break all that down when he come in, right? So you confused. So hey, we don't know what he gonna say, but we know he about to go in. Okay, there you go, right there.
Yo,
ladies and gentlemen, now coming to the stage, Faise One. This is
Roll
Faise
back.
One, y'all. Hey, roll back. We're about to get it cracking. You know, hey, they love you, Faise. Hey, you starting to. You the guy now. You the guy. Everybody waiting what you gonna say next. They wait. They patiently on the edge of their seats. They waiting on what you gonna say next. So take off. This right here is it. Because I guess we get the question and answer once you get whatever to that point. But go ahead, take off. 19 keys, man. What's the science of 19 keys? What about this 19 keys? Because we know there's 19 chapters, I think, in the Quran, right? So what's the connection? It's got to be some kind of the music, everything. It's got to be connected. Everything's connected. Because I know that Baba, when he was reciting the Quran, he used to sing it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he would sing the Quran, like in tones. So it's dealing with tones, all kind of stuff. So I know you're going to go in on it. Take off.
So there are 114 when it comes to how many chapters. 114 chapters in El Quran. And it's all about revelation. This is what people have been forgetting. This is what they forgot. And before we begin this bill, I want to make sure that we clear about something. The biggest error that I've seen, and I just got here in 1998, so I've only been consciously recalling and collecting information or recollecting information since I've been like 3 years old. The biggest error that I can remember and that I'm still observing is that they said they were going to send their angel, their messenger, right? Which a lot of people picked up on to be Malachi, okay? Which literally meant my angel or my messenger. They said that that would happen. That was written in the story. The same way all of these people pay homage to and give love to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Far Muhammad, Wallace Muhammad, Prophet Allah, Class 13X, Noble Drew Ali. All of these brothers get loved by all of these communities, whether it's Nations of Gods and Earth, whoever, the Nation of Islam. Everybody gives love to all of these different messengers or people. Yet, when it came time to not only give love to, but to prove that they wouldn't abandon Malachi, they chose to abandon him. Okay? I saw where the actual character being played as 19 Keys right now, which a lot of people may be showing up for. I saw where he said, because I was asking why after 21 years of him being in prison, has there been no collaborative effort? And I'm only 25 now. Notice, key number, Jabril Muhammad, and we'll get into breaking that down, is 33 years old this year, to my knowledge. He's 33, 3-3. This is a very important year. As I already stated, this will be the 7th year or a key year. And 7 is that key, and we'll get into that also. I called out to the whole of the conscious community, and I asked them, why to this day has there not been a collaborative effort, not only to push for the exoneration of the most honorable Dr. Malachi Z. York L., also to help get him released from the belly of the beast, which is Colorado ADMAX or ADX, Florence. I asked the question as to why have they stepped out like they were the master teachers? Why have they stepped out like they were the ones who were even figuring out the sciences? Are you with me? I'm not talking about Rashad and them, because if anybody really know, the 19 number breakdown isn't new. However, if you were there or if you came from the NOI, you know who that missing link was. If you've ever read Is the Computer God by Faise One, at the end of the book, I put Dr. York versus the computer. You go read Dr. York versus the computer, you have a whole breakdown of not only the number 19, but the history of the number 19 as it pertains to the Al-Quran or the Quran, and also how it was being broken down according to prophecy. Malachi York was the missing link. They'll never give him credit. Yet I can hear these people go out and teach and speak on the number 19 from the vantage point and the breakdowns and buildups of the one who explained the whole cipher of 19. Why do I say cipher? Because that was another secret or code that was hidden. When you said 19 or wrote out 19, you had 101, 101. They put it in the Matrix movie. Okay? They also put it as the emblem on the Green Lantern characters. You see a 101 in their emblem. What is that? It's 19. 1 cipher 1. Are you with me? Which was supposed to represent a balance and also the sacred behind the binary code, which is why it appears in a movie about coding, which is also why you code it code, right? Or called it code 19 in the Quran. Code 19, which refers codex or C19, the miracle number of Al-Quran. All right? It was Malachi York who broke that down. It was also Malachi Z. York who was explaining to people before they started to run with it like it was mainstream that figured it out, that all of the numbers of Al-Quran had a common denominator. And that common denominator was 19. So when you say 114, you'll say 19 times 6. Are you with me? And these breakdowns were supposed to be able to show people that the 19 was the most important number. Another sacred about the number 19 was it was the only number that when you multiplied it by any number, 19 times 1 gave you 19. 19 times 2 gave you 38. 19, and you can continue to figure this out by just adding 2 to the first digit of whatever number, and then subtracting 1 from the second digit of whatever number. So 19 times 1 gives you 19. 19 times 2 gives you what? 38. 19 times 3 gives you what? 57. 19 times 4, and you continue to go on and add on, which you have the 135 in the first 3 levels of the 19 number. 135 as in 19, 38, 57. And it continues to count down in that last place, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cipher or 0. This was coding, or what the Quran referred to as signs. Are you with me? Which is why they started to come out and say there's a potential that the computer is the sign, the big sign or the beast that Al-Quran was speaking about. Are you with me? Because they were trying to explain that human beings were going to ignore their signs, whoever these extraterrestrials or malaika or angels were. Yet, when technology was presented for the people, they started to love on and grow attached to and give honor to the technology because they needed a technological representation of who Allah Ta'ala was or God or the source was. Yet they couldn't recognize it in the computer that they exist in, which is called reality. They couldn't recognize it there. They needed technology. And even then they were saying they would ignore those signs. So the beast would come forth and teach and talk. And it was a being. It was called a computer, 1943. The computer. And that computer had a job. When you say computer, it's saying that this being is coming to compute or what? Calculate. Remember we said, let he who have overstanding, or they say understanding, but overstanding, remember this, here is wisdom. Let he who have overstanding count or calculate the number of the beast. Not everybody would know what we were talking about. And then this being comes out to challenge the source. Are you with me? As in, some people would worship technology, some people would worship biology. Some people will walk in alignment with what man created as their God, which was still coming up under the 19 as AI. The first letter, A, the ninth letter, I. AI. And that became the God of man. And then the rest of the people would say, well, God already gave us everything we needed. This is the sustainer, the provider. He's already given us our provisions, our razik, or our razak, to allow for us to be aliens or aliens, which is why Malachi York brought forth the science of the 19th galaxy, the 19th galaxy of alien, to say the most high, or the highest point that you can reach. When you get up to that divine place and you make a union with that which was referred to as Anu, who is and what is the most high known to you. What do these people do with the science? They come out and they monetize the science. They come out and they make it all about banking. They make it all about financial freedom. And they forgot, and we see you, they forgot that it was about the ruh, the soul. But they made it about the numbers. They made it about the digits. Why? Because digit L, the numbers are the God of men. AI reigns supreme over men. And so I'm calling out to all of them and I'm letting them know that the reason why you forgot Malachi, the reason why you wanted to forget Malachi is because he was making you really stick to the works of what your books were saying do. Everybody want to keep speaking about the riches when it comes to the soul. Everybody wants to act like there's even an alignment with becoming top dog in man's world and becoming top God in Allah's creation. They want to act like there's a merging. When they said that's your being lukewarm. You don't have to stress finances. You don't have to stress the economics if you really know what this is all about. Because all things have already been provided for you, especially if you're seeking that kingdom that's inside of you. So if you really had the keys, then the keys should show you directly back to the holy place. The holy place, which is a type of temple. Are you with me? So when we took the one you call Prophet Rasulullah Muhammad on a journey called Al-Isra, the night journey, okay? What a lot of people forget, we say, well, Miraj, Al-Isra wa Miraj, is to say what? The night journey and the ascension. Because a lot of people leave it at the night journey and you only dealing with the blackness. You have to factor in the ascension because we didn't just take him through the night and what you call the Borak is to say a bright thing or the lightning. It's a million different ways, beaming. But the Borak is something that was bright and shiny or white. We didn't just take him on the Borak through the night. We caused him to ascend. And he was at the end of that destination in the presence of who you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was in the presence of the Most High or the source. And what was it referred to as? The holy place or Jerusalem. Jerusalem. Are you with me? Which means he went from the dark place to the light place. Are you understanding? So for a lot of people who were confused about what that journey was about out of the darkness into the light. That journey was about also something referred to as Esra. So you say Isra, you're speaking about a journey. Okay? Isra. You say Esra, you're saying time. Okay? If you were to take from the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, and then go 5, 6, 7, you create a scale. Where in the center of that scale, called the Katub, stay with me, Katub, which is another word to say point or axis or pole. In the center of that scale, all right, if you were to draw a mountain from the point that's in the center to the point of a first point and a second point beneath the center, you will have a pyramid. If you were to go from that point in the center and connect another point and another point, you will have another pyramid upside down. This will form an hourglass. Remember, I told you, don't forget about Esra, the time. Remember, Michael said, remember the time. And in the same surah, which don't forget, surah also ties you literally to a word sutra. And sutra was the Sanskrit word for threads. Okay? And it also brought you to a word that meant a sign. So the same way you say what surah and what ayah, you're saying what chapter and what verse. Surah brought you around to the word sign. And ayah brought you around to the word sign. Go look it up. And we said, pay attention to what? The signs of the times. So in Al-Isra, you find that they mention about the hour, okay, or the differentiation between the hour or the time periods. And how do they do it? They say in chapter 17:12, right? That's Al-Isra, Surah 17, okay, Ayah 12. They say, we made for you the day and the night. And when we made the day and the night, it was for you to be able to differentiate between these two signs, as they literally called it. There were two signs. And those two signs had different frequencies, what you refer to as the lesser light and the greater light. Are you with me? One of the signs was the nighttime. They put this in Better Sheep or in the beginning, okay, or in the beginning in the book of Genesis in the Bible. So for those of you who come from the Christian orientation, remember what they said. They created a light that ruled over the nighttime and ruled over the day. And I'm saying they because God was Elohim, Elohuma, okay, or Elohim meaning these beings, or Elohim also meaning gods, more than one gods, plurality. Okay? They said they created a light, which was the night, or the moon, Yemaya, Hillel, and we'll get into that. And that nighttime was devoid of light. And we just broke down, when we broke down the sciences of, and built up the sciences of the occult, that the light is the information, correct? Okay, so if the nighttime was devoid of light, then we're still speaking about Sophia's world, or Baphomet's world, or the dark world, okay, or what was referred to as the dark ages. In real time, literally, they have something called the dark ages. You go from the 4th century on up, and you will find where they were literally saying, okay, it was the 5th century, because 400, yeah, so 5th century on up, they were literally saying, in that time period, they didn't have information. They were lacking the sciences. and they didn't know how to move forward. You understand? So if the night was devoid of light, then that's the part of the self when it comes to another word called the jihad. The jihad, okay, that part of the self is struggling to overcome darkness, all right, or a lack of knowledge. Because when you don't have the knowledge, you are trapped. That's why we said you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. We wanted you to know. We wanted everything to be clear. This is everything that was put in Al-Quran. We wanted everything to be clear for you so that nobody could come and confuse you. Are you with me? So we said the night will be devoid of light. And we also said that the daytime, or that spark during the daytime or the light hours, or ruh, okay, everything would be bright and clear for you. Are you with me? So you have that on the scale of your hourglass, where everything in the lower world, okay, starting at that one, which yields that root, everything in that lower world leading up to the heart, okay, is the world of darkness. This is why they told you that Muhammad, all right, alayhi salam, had to be taken and placed in a higher plane, in a holy place. And they had to open up, do surgery on his heart. And they waxed him and cleaned his heart and extracted the portion that they said was the dark portion for Shaitan, or that which would have caused him to oppose the true light. They took that out of Muhammad and then sealed him back up and sent him out into the world as a messenger of the true light. This is important. Why is it important? Because they told people to watch out for the time where people would walk around with the symbol of the kef on their head. Stay with me. Remember, anybody can grab the light. I had a lesson that came out. I said, devils can teach too. I hope you hear what I'm saying. Because if we're saying the symbol of the kef, what are we really saying? Because if you say kafir, what does it mean? A kafir, say it phonetically. Kafir, cover, cover, cover. All right? If you know the truth and you know what this is truly supposed to be about, if you have been exposed to Dr. Malachi York, and you know that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad showed and told and prophesied about the coming of the one who will bear the knowledge and the wisdom of the Lamb. He literally said it phonetically. The Lamb, or the shepherd, Imam Isa. If you saw Imam Isa and you saw this is the chief cornerstone and you rejected him, you are walking around not only with an unstable foundation, you're passing out the blueprints of an unstable foundation. And so that means if you know who Dr. Malachi York is, and you know that if you were to place, no disrespect, the works, the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom of what Dr. Malachi York brought forth to your whole plane, all of your religions, all of your walks of life, all of your classes and degrees will be here, all shadow hour, speaking about what he brought you, ungrateful people. If you were to look at the works and place them next to the works of anybody you would mention, from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to the Minister Farrakhan, to Prophet Allah, to Francis Cress-Wilson, to Dr. Ben, to Dr. Africa, Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, whoever you would want to say out of your mouth would even be a master teacher of today's day and age. If you were to place the works, if you don't believe on me, believe on my works, of Asa, Imam Asa, Malachi, Murdoch, next to any of their works, you know what the true light would shine from, or where the true light would stream from. You know this, and that lets me know that you are a kafir if you cannot come out and say who the master teacher of our time is. And so this goes for 19 Keys and anybody else. You can feel how you want to feel about it. If you are not leading with the fact that we still have someone with us who gave honor to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who taught us who walked with him to give honor to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him. If you know that he's here, suffering the first 3 degrees of the 19, the 1 and the 3 and the 5, that gives you the 9. For you to be able to come out and speak on the 19, he was the reason why the rest of these people were able to figure it out. They won't give credit. If you know he's here, battling the beast in Colorado, the color red, the belly of the beast, yet you won't say there needs to be a movement of green light. There needs to be a movement to help combat what they've done. There needs to be a movement. Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, why is there not a movement to get your brother out of the belly of the beast? And if you don't feel you're powerful enough, why can't you start or spark a movement to clear the name of one of the brothers who made it be that some of the people who you brought into your movement were awake enough to hear what you said? We didn't have the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The most Honorable Elijah Muhammad did his job, though, and told you who to look out for. And so, what is the symbol of the kafir? I can tell you the symbol of the kafir, because if you know the true light, and we told you, face your Lord, face the true light. The night is devoid of light. We said that when you finally figure out who the true light or what the true light is, and you face it, you will be of the ones who will know what it is. That's why the whole Knowing movie is about the sun. The Knowing movie is about CMEs, or what they call coronal mass ejections. It was all about the sun. And you want to know what else it was about? It was about a young lady. And it was about a person named Lucinda, stay with me, Lucy, light bearer, who had the ability to hear the whisper people, the Etherians. If I'm making this up, tell me that the image of the angels in the Knowing movie is not the same exact image that is right here in this book, the Holy Tablets. Tell me it's not the same image. It's the exact same image. Are you with me? So those Etherians had the ability to communicate with people telepathically. And they referred to them as the whisper people. And those whisper people channeled and communicated with whoever this little girl was. And remember, they tried to say she was schizophrenic. And they also tried to say Dr. Malachi York was schizophrenic. The minister speaks the science of the will. No one calls him crazy. They listen to him. Malachi York speaks the science of the will, shows you how they were built, who's driving them, what their names are, how you can find them and communicate with them. He takes people in real time, shows them where they are, how to see them. He shows them in real time. He told me the tones that I don't even have to utter, that I can think in my mind and they will come. I've shown people in real time these crafts that people are calling baby planes and starships. Ask 19 Keys or any of these people who claim to be walking in the order that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad set up. Have they ever had a person-to-person encounter with any of these ascended masters? Or is it all allegory to y'all? Is it all something we can take and make a t-shirt out of and sell it? Because if that's the case, you haven't been exposed enough to that true light to even step out here as a teacher. When they denied Malachi, they caused a rift in time. And we've been holding that rift together every time we speak the name and every time we remind people. It's not like you're not saying there aren't or there are leaders. You're saying there are leaders because you always mention the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You'll go on forums and teachings. I see you. I've seen all of these people. And you will mention all of them. Yet you won't mention the one who came forth and brought everybody together at the Ketub or the center point or the pole, when you get into the science of the pillars, because we said that there was a tree, which is also a pole, in the midst of the garden. And it had 2 parts or 2 trunks or 2 bodies. Are you with me? To that tree. When you get into the science of the Kundalini or the Caduceus. Okay? And it's all about the pole. So if you think in pole and you only see this, that's only 1 degree. But at one point, the pole is this. And there's the bottom pole and there's the top pole. This is how your planet operates, whether you believe in flat earth or not. This is the science of a north and a south pole. He brought everybody to the center axis point, the Kateb, and remind them about the Kateb. They said, Faise, you said the same thing twice. Did I? Because if I say Katab, what am I saying? Scriptures. The words that were supposed to be the words of guide, God, guard. He brought you back to the word. He said, let's deal with the sinner, the word, the fire that's inside. So if you know that there was someone who did that and activated the green light, I can find you 1,000,000 images with Dr. Malachi Ziork, all right, with the green light surrounding him. If you know he's here, why do you cover him up? Why have you chosen to be a kafir? Because you walk around with the symbol of the kafir on your head. And that symbol is none other than the crescent moon. In the sun cycle, if you're still rocking the crescent moon, we know who you are. If you think I'm making it up, then go read Al-Quran, Surah 17, Ayah 12. Go read it and tell me they didn't say that one of those lights or time periods was devoid of light. Huh? You will find that it says that. So that is the sign that we're looking out for in this day and time, because we're in the sun cycle and people need to be reminded about not only the sun itself, but what the sun does for a person when you stand out in it. The fact that when it interacts with your crown, there is an ascension process that takes place. Just because you stand in the sun, your molecules start speeding up. Scientifically, that's referred to as ascension. Scientifically, the moon can do no such thing. You can stand out in the moon all you want to. It will never cause you to ascend. So how are we having higher level conversations walking around with a moon? And how do you know who Malachi is? And I know this nigga heard me, because when I said, all I'm asking for all of y'all to do is to clear up the smoke. Let it be clear that there is a master among us still. Let it be clear. Don't treat him how y'all treated Muhammad, okay, when he was mourning Fatima, excuse me, that's Mooney. When he was mourning his mother, don't treat Malachi how you did the prophet when he was just trying to get you to overstand, and you ridiculed him and belittled him and acted like he was insignificant until you could profit off his works. Listen to the key word, profit. Everybody playing profit. Now they playing profit. That's all it's about. Because if it wasn't, you would have no fear letting people know about Malachi. But you know, and I'm speaking directly to the soul because I know he's watching. I know all of them are hearing me. You know that if you were to open up them doors and let people know who Malachi York is and what it's all about right now, to date, they wouldn't need to follow behind you. They will also know immediately you ain't on no high level anything. So when I spoke and I asked them to clear it up, clear up all the smog and the fog, his response was, we don't need master teachers in this day and time. We need master builders. My response to his response is, you are neither. You're not a master teacher, and you're not a master builder. I've seen a master teacher at work in person. And I remember, even though I was a toddler, that's the difference between you and I. I saw the master teacher at work, and I saw how the people were handling him who were upset about the fact that he was doing the works. He didn't claim to be a Muslim just to claim to be a Muslim. He went in and ascended the highest of ranks, became what was referred to as Imam Isa, translated Al-Quran, spoke to people, told them, you're not even supposed to, Yusuf Ali is a poor translation of Al-Quran. before the Sunnis came forth and admitted what he was saying when they were at one time calling him crazy for it. You're speaking about somebody who went and learned all of the languages that were necessary to break down these religions. High level. When most of these people can't say a single phrase in Arabic, sort of what? The same generic one, Assalamu alaikum, and they chop and screw the fuck out of that one. Yet you want to deny the one who did it. This is why it doesn't make sense. If I was not brought up in right knowledge and exposed to all of y'all schools, plus the school that allowed for me to see the ins and outs of all of y'all schools, I could still step back and see if we were to look at everybody's works, there was no reason why Malachi Z. York should have been abandoned. And there was no reason why he should have been shut down and the works should have been overlooked. Because not only is it a part of your history when you come in the name of black, that's why I tell people, watch out for all this pro-black shit, because how you going to be professionally black? That means professionals make money. But how you going to make money off black? Unless you make money off black. And black means ignorance. Black means people don't know the whole game. Well, they wouldn't think what you were saying was high level if they really knew the whole game. If they were exposed to the true light in a way in the hell, they still come up under a crescent. When the crescent itself is saying Hillel. And Hillel or Helan in old Anglo-Saxon or old English, right, is saying concealment, something that's kept away. And the whole purpose of Al-Quran was to remind people of the day of revelation. Don't ignore our revelations. How are you still coming up under the concealment? You don't know that they fooled you? You don't know that they hid the 5-pointed star in the Baphomet emblem because the Baphomet emblem was associated with Hillel? And Hillel was another word in Islam, you could say it. In Arabic, you're saying crescent in Hillel. Hillel meant crescent. And the crescent was associated with a being called Hillel or Baphomet. The deceivers. And so, remember, they said the kafir the disbelievers. All right? And it's very important to remember the key element of kafir. Kafir, the reason why I showed you phonetically covered is because they know the truth. Them niggas know what I'm talking about. They won't listen. It's the same thing with what's going on with the music industry. With D1, they'll respond to D1. They won't respond to me because they see the true light. And they say, well, if we give any type of light, all right, or open up the doors for this person to step through, it's over for us. So they'll cause a replication and make it seem like this person is the one bringing forth the flame. And people fall for it, and they don't even understand that's not the fight. The fight ain't the music industry. If you've been walking with me, you know it's deeper than that. You have to deal with the actual forces. Remember, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. The actual forces that cause for the music industry to exist. Are you with me? So when you see these people stepping forth with the Hillel, the crescent, and we know that you know the truth, you are choosing to be a kafir. And the kafirs were said to sit around with the rest of the mu'min, or the mu'minun, mu'minati, and say, I'm with you. I'm one of you. I'm a Muslim. Yet you check and see, are they really living like Muslims? They're not. And that's not to break into the conversation of mainstream Islam will be here all shadow. It's to say that they're not really living like Muslims. Are you with me? So they only act as if the religion is something that is their foundation, because if it were truly their foundation, money would not be the leading cause of what they're doing. Glory would not be the leading cause of what they're doing. How do you know whether or not it's the leading cause? Because it is nothing for them to utilize the name of the NOI. It's a business that was already set in place. All right? It's nothing for them to utilize that name. It's nothing for them to ride off of the works of Farrakhan. It's nothing for them to ride off of the works of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay? That means people just see them as a part of a package that's already been built up. And they can sell whatever they want to sell from that point on. And you start asking yourself, what is the end goal? What is the end goal? When Farrakhan speaks on the wheel, what is he talking about? Is he saying allegory? If that's the case, then why did he see the most honorable Elijah Muhammad on a UFO or the wheel? This is not only allegory. My point is this: if it was truth and the true light, and it wasn't about glory, it wasn't about fame, it wasn't about money, you would have no problem letting those doors be open and showing the people who cracked open the prophesied 7th seal. Why is that important? Because there were tears, there was sorrow when they didn't think anybody could open it. For a long time, you had no idea what Al-Quran was sent for and what the Bible was sent for. You had no idea. For a long time, they didn't know that the book of Revelation was the Bible. They didn't know that for a long time. And so somebody came forth and showed you word by word, scripture by scripture, kitab, kitab, book, book, piece, piece, tittle here, tittle there. A point here, a point there. What they were and why they were revealed. And you ignored it? You ignored that? You must be of the Kafirun then. And so we're faced with another reminder in this day and time that if anybody has not yet been exposed to Malachi, okay, then how can you claim to know the time you're in? Because remember, Esther, the time, because I swear by the time, mankind has to make their transition. They said you were losing. Man was losing. Remember, they said, Muhammad, don't make yourself to be worshipped. Make yourself as a reminder. Let them know you're here to remind them. Take our revelation and remind these people. Remind these people of the levels they had to ascend through to get to what? The divine union. Past the material plane, all right? Past that mental plane where you meet Al-Qadir, the green one, which is also to say Qadir, to say the potent one or the powerful one. Once you get to that point, you ascend further where you have divine truth that you speak. You have divine reality that you see. And then you have divine union. Remind them. Tell them about the 7 heavens, the 7 levels. Remind them about the 7 seals. We're going to call you the seal of the prophets. Don't forget about 777. You got the circle 7, Quran. You got what? I, self, Lord, and Master, all those people who rock with the number 7. You got the Moors who throw up the number 7. 7777. How many steps between 1 and 9? 7. Okay. So then what is 1 and 9? 1 and 9 is what's referred to as the hands of God. That's 1 and 9. The hands of God. Everything that exists between the hands of God is your visible reality, your observable universe. So between the hands of God, or that chi like I broke down for you, is the G, which is the 7, or the 7 steps in between, where in the center of that 7 you have the what? The green, which is why the green light movement is here. And anybody who finds this chi is able to use it to help shape and form reality. It's speaking about your being healed and brought forth out of the darkness so that you can actually see what's taking place in its reality. So we did code it. And we said, use your willpower. How do you know that? Because in order for you to become a savior, in order for you to be able to shape and form this reality for whatever cause would be at that point in time, key words, point and time, katem. All right? For you to be able to speak for the words of God, or the Madu Nectar, all right, or the Medu Najar, Mother Nature, as they say, but again, Medu Nature is the divine speech of God. In order for you to do that, in order for you to be of the anointed ones, or Qur'est, all right, you had to be what? In the divine presence of and come in contact with that which is referred to as Mashiach. Mashiach. You ever seen people that, do you know Jesus? I tell you, you say no Jesus, you're saying no Isis. And noesis is speaking about knowledge. Go look up the word noesis or noetics or gnosis. No Isis or no Jesus or no Jesus. When you know Jesus or know Jesus, what? You have the truth, the life, and the way. Now you can ascend. In order for you to ascend, you have to yourself take up your cross, walk along that crossroad, all right, and be able to ascend through what's referred to as Mashiach. And Mashiach is the word that means what? Divine will. Divine will. Go look it up. Mashiach. Divine will. What does it sound like? El Mashiach. El Messiah. Messiah. And who was the one who brought forth the message? El Mashiach. Who said what? The spirit is willing. The spirit is willing. It is the flesh that is weak. He made sure he highlighted what? The will power. Which brings you all back around to that Green Lantern movie, Green Light, where they speak about the willpower. Are you with me? He said, don't fall into temptation. 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 Temple of Tashan. Temple of Shaitan. Baphomet. Baphomet. Go look it up. And you will find that it's saying the body of Baphomet, or the temple of the Father, who is at that point Baphomet, or the darkness, or Hillel. Hillel. Are you with me? You have to be able to activate your will. So your willpower is the ability to say, I'm going to deny all of the things of this world so that we can get this work done. If you only want to glorify the self, then you're not going to look at the grand scheme. The grand scheme is, again, it doesn't make sense that you turned your back on Malachi. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. I won't stop. Like I told you, I will not stop until people know that you have defrauded the conscious movement. All of you. You have defrauded the movement to leave out the one who was the most influential. Not only does it make sense, it shows me all of you are devils. All of them are devils. That's why I'm glad that we did the class of the occult first, so that I can remind you Lucifer can teach too. Ask Lucifer what's the plan and watch them conceal it. Remember, all these niggas be Masons and shit. And we were taught don't tell. That's why the responses go out say, anybody telling the secrets, you're afraid. No, anybody not telling the secrets is afraid because you're scared of the penalty that they gave you to speak over yourself. There's a subconscious fear. Everybody want to act like they understand the subconscious. Do you know that if I tell people we're going to fast, right, and we don't fast, meaning they fast, but there's no we, because I'm sitting behind the camera eating chicken, talking about some go y'all, we're going to make it through the days, that I'm emitting what's called amber light at that point. The reason why I can reach all these people and it be hell is because when I'm saying we're going to do a thing, I do it with them. I don't imitate righteousness. If I say we're going to do this, I'm doing it with them. If I say this is the foundation of what we're doing, I'm going to stand on that foundation. If I slip, I tell them I slipped. When we walk together. That way, when I come and I speak to them about it, I only can emit green light about it and above. So if you standing out here saying we don't need master teachers, and it ain't about teaching, it's about building, yet I can find a million videos of y'all niggas sitting and talking about all this other irrelevant ass shit. What do you call that? You call it just gossiping? You call it sipping tea? You call it talking amongst each other? You call it fellowshipping? Or do you call it teaching? And so to say we don't need master teachers is just as disingenuous as the motherfuckers when we was in class, they used to say, you think you know everything. It ain't all about being smart. Because of the projection of your own insecurities and your own shortcomings, right? Well, one of my teachers in school used to tell me, be careful when you're dealing with these men teachers of yours. Because I used to have a problem with a lot of the male teachers. She told me, you have a presence in the things that you know makes other ones who think that they're the ones feel inadequate. Okay, so that's what Dr. York went through with all of y'all. And the reason why you want to say stuff like we don't need master teachers is only to shun him until you attend an event full of herbalists and vegans and all these philosophers, and y'all want to go down the list of all these other people you call trailblazers, and you'll mention Dr. Sebi, but you won't mention who Dr. Sebi mentioned. What are you so afraid of? And it ain't just about mentioning, again, let's make sure people are clear on something. It's about the fact that if we had to look at whatever works were necessary to cause for the ascension that you see in phase one, and this ain't nothing. Remember, I'm only 25. However, those works caused for me to ascend way before anybody thought it was my time. I don't think I know everything there is to know. However, I know what's right. I had a lyric say, I'm not saying I'm righteous, but I know what right is. And I know that it was wrong to do what they did because now people are confused. People are confused because what is the key tab? What is the key tab? If I'm using a computer, the key tab is something that I press into code. The tabs are the keys. When I open up a tab, that's another window, and I have to use the keys to open it. What is the key tab? What is the center that they have us hold, all right, in allegory when we're giving our obi or our obligation? What is that? What is that center point? And when we say, when the time came, this is Matthew chapter 24 and 15, right? When the time came for you to witness the desolation or the abomination spoken of by who they call Daniel the prophet, they said, stand in the holy place. The holy place, which is referred to as the shrine. How would I find the holy place or the spiritual place in the word kitab? Remember, Al-Quran is a kitab. Don't forget, because it's very important. If I were to stand in the holy place, I got to first find it in the words and trust that whoever the ones who programmed these words did leave us behind codes that a very specific person in each generation will be able to come forth and break those codes, use a key, and fatiha. Open it. What was the code? Key, tab. Key, spirit. Key, spiritual. Ka, key, life force. Key, holy. What is a tab? Short for tabernacle. When we were coming from Nuwapu or Right Knowledge, if we were to meet, let's say we're meeting a sister, we'll say, you from the tab? Before we would talk to that sister, we want to know if she was from the tab. We would say a tabernacle. The word tabernacle is to say a holy place or a dwelling place, specifically. So when you say kitab, you're saying what? A spiritual place or a spiritual dwelling. That is the holy place. And so when you saw this desolation, which we look out and see, when you saw this abomination spoken of by Daniel, the prophet, stand in the holy place. And they also put a small message in there. They said, let he who overstands know what we're talking about. Go read it. Why do they do that so much throughout the biblical scripture? Why do they try to remind people so much that wisdom is what allowed for you to be able to see in this day and time or any day and time? Because it brings you right back around to when the Muhammad or Prophet Muhammad had to go into that holy place. He took that journey through the night and ascended into that holy place. He went up. So when Farrakhan speaks about the will, remember the word W-I-L-L, because in order to activate that will, you need enough power. And your chakras are referred to as wheels in Sanskrit. Go look it up. Don't take my word. You say chakra in Sanskrit, you're saying a wheel. Are you with me? And in order for that wheel to ascend, it takes more energy, like the propellers or propulsion of any kind. It takes energy, bursts of it, to get up out of the gravitational pull of a material plane called Earth. You've seen the rocket ships. Are you with me? And so There's an allegory to the will. Then there's literary to the will. Because remember, everything we created for you pairs that you might receive instructions. There's polarity, the hermeticas, polarity, the principle of polarity. You can find it in the book of the Kabbalion, chapter 10. Polarity. So if we're saying inside, we're saying outside also. There's a will that has to rise up inside your body. And it takes a specific journey up the spine to the heavens or the holy place, the shrine. And then there's a real will that some of us have seen. And there were people on it. Are you with me? You want to know what's interesting? When they were speaking of the stories of Prophet Muhammad, they said that his ceiling was open. He had a ceiling, a roof, and it was open, and they brought him up through the ceiling. The same thing I told people happened when I was 12 years old. We have to come on here and talk about extraterrestrials. I don't want to go too deep. I want to keep the center of the conversation. But we can come on here and speak about that. To keep it short, I experienced what Muhammad experienced, and I saw my heart on a screen. I got to come on here and break that down. But he said he had a ceiling, and they had to open it. And I said, how did they open my ceiling? Which it wasn't literally, I went through my ceiling. But there still had to be some type of opening for me to go through it. And when I got back to my couch, at that time, I only had a couch in my room. And this was back when I was 12 years old, so around 2013. When I got back to my couch, I looked up immediately at my ceiling and I saw no fractures, cracks, or anything like that. Whatever the technology was, they had the ability to pull me through the ceiling. So when I read that part, I said, that's interesting. Because if you are really of the Mu'minun, you know that they said the Quran was not only the best of sayings, but it was clear. So when they spoke about the messengers or the Malaika or angels like Jibril coming down to Muhammad, interestingly enough, they meant that. Unless you're going to tell me Jibril Muhammad, they didn't mean it. Unless you're going to tell me anywhere in Al-Quran that it says these words are not true and faithful. And so why is 19 Keys called Baton Jibril Muhammad? Does he know why? Because it was Jibril who brought Muhammad the 19 Keys. Know your place. Know what you're supposed to do. And a part of what you're supposed to do is bring people to the true light, because that's what Jibril brought Muhammad, the true light. Who was the one who came out with the true light tapes? None other than Dr. Malachi Z. York. This is a more updated teaching of Islam than whatever existed. The most dynamic books. You didn't witness that time period? I know if anybody was brought up in the NOI and you didn't hear about Malachi York, something wrong. But I know you did. So for you to hear about it and not come out and speak it, we're missing a piece, because a green comet, too. Green comets passed by our planet this year. What does it mean, Jabril? What does it mean, Bobby? What does it mean? Any of these people, can anybody tell us why it happened and why it was called Nijin Order? Nijin, or living order, orb. And tell me you can't find Malachi on record speaking about it when he spoke about what? The comet that came behind Hellbot. He said, I said it was a living orb. I said it was a living thing. It came out of his mouth. And then a comet comes by in green light, just like they showed you in Meteor Man, where there was a green essence that came down onto the planet, and it was not a meteorite, because when it came into the alley, it hovered and then went into the brother. And that brother was at that point able to touch books and extract information. He had the superpowers. He had the whole movie is based off of Malachi, if you didn't know. Now you do. So what does it mean when we look out and see what they told us to pay attention to? The signs of the suns, the stars, and the moon. What's happening in the celestials. None of them can speak on that. But I know a man. I know a man who not only spoke on the celestial events, he predicted them. If we gonna act like it didn't happen, y'all listen, they gonna have the time of their life with phase one as I get older. They gonna have the time of their life. Because again, we need people to remember. This is another reminder going out to them. So again, you're using your will to get up, climb up those levels, and ascend to the heavens. And if it takes the 19 keys to do that, then you have to understand what those keys are, which ultimately is one key. It's one key. So then what is the key? The key is your will. That is your will. The key is your will. That's how you get out. So we start off. What is the first book in the Quran? Al-Fatiha. Al-Fatiha. Fatiha. Fatiha. Why am I repeating it? Because it meant the opener. It also meant key. Are you with me? So we start you off with not, remember it's coded because the first book of the Quran is Surah 96. Okay? Which is chapter 96, where they were speaking about the beginning, saying, Iqra, read, go back and read. So they literally made it be that the Quran was not in chronological order, because even the order of revelation was supposed to be decoded. Guess who decoded it? Malachi York. He was the one who showed you 96 was the year the book of Revelation was revealed. The year 96. Are you with me? So in the year 96, the book of Revelation comes out. Chapter 96 begins the conversation of the revelations to Rasulullah. And it has 19 verses in it. Are you with me? So it's not the first book in the Quran, 96, but that's the first book of the Quran in order of revelation. But the first book in Al-Quran, or the first chapter in Al-Quran, is Fatiha. And that's important because when you're saying key or opener, you go and look up the word miftah. Miftah. You say Fatiha, miftah. Okay? What does miftah mean? Miftah means what? Or miftah means key or opener. Okay, Faise, I think I get where you're going with this. Because there's a commonality there. We see ta. Of course. So you say miftah, key, opener. All right? You say Fatah or Fatiha. You say key, opener. Okay, then who was Ta? Ta was an ancient Egyptian god where if you go look up what his name meant, it meant the opener, who first gave you the key. He was the first one that gave you the key. So if you say miftah, you're saying key, but if you say miftah, mean is to say from, and say ta is the opener. So the key still comes from the original opener, which would have been ta. So Fatiha starts a conversation of a key being delivered to you. And they told you what the whole purpose was when you start out by saying Bismillah, Bism Allah, the bosom of Allah. And where your goal was, or what your goal was, as far as your journey or your travels. So as a traveler, I can tell you that the 19 keys is a key. And that's why they told you to start with the ASK, which I broke down the science of that, 2B1, ask one, which gives you the number 7. And that 7 is the center between God's hands, which is that G in the center, or the Chi in the center that the Chi masters hold. And it takes willpower to activate your Chi. Are you with me? That's why they said be cautious. Don't let the devil in your heart. Don't let the disagreeable ones in your heart. Because when you let the disagreeable ones in your heart, you become ruptured at the core. Core ruptures. Corruption. You become corrupt. They said maintain your inner sense. Your innocence. Maintain it. Are you with me? So that when you start hearing more and more of the light, okay, you will know where to go in this day and time. These kappas are all over. So if kappa means to cover, and you remember I was the one who broke down the car. I said, look, this so-called virus situation, the crown syndrome, they're speaking about the Quran. I told people that. I said, look at the words, cover it. Cover it. Okay? Now, if you say cover it, you're only saying over it with a C. So what is the C or the cipher? Over it. When you find chapter 74, verse 30, the hidden secret, 74, verse 30, they say over it is 19. And what were they speaking about? So you have cover it up because there's an apocalypse where you take these hands and you lift it up. We went over this. And you let the light out. Let people know what is truly happening here. And don't keep the light in prison. Let him out. Because you're losing. And we swear by the time. Are you hearing me? Because Dr. York had a teaching called I Swear by the Time. Well, you have to be squeezed. And we squeezing you at the center. If I take something and squeeze it at the center, that couture, it causes something to appear like an hourglass. And remember, Esther, he broke it down to say you're squeezing something like juice. And we swear by the time you look up and find out what we meant by the hour, because remember, Ibrahim or Musa didn't know what was meant by the hour. They didn't know. He kept speaking about the hour, the ninth hour. The hour has not come. We swear by the time you figure it out, you would have lost. They're not supposed to win. And so over it is 19. You hear about it being called Melik. Melik. What does it sound like? Melik. Melikai. Melik. And Melik was one of the guardians of Jahannam or hell. Are you with me? When they were saying over it is 19, they were speaking of the Zebaniah. Zebaniah. And Zebaniah is another way to say angels or guardians of hell. Are you with me? And those Zebaniah had one job to do. And they said those beings will not go against what Allah Ta'ala has told them. They want to guard hell. And they put out a warning. You can find this in Al-Quran chapter 66 or Surah 66 verse 6, or you'll find another allusion to it in chapter 6 verse 66. Not a coincidence. The same way if you read chapter 6 verse 6, they speak about the destruction. But they were saying to you in Al-Quran chapter 66 verse 6, protect you and your family from the fire. And they said that the fuel of that fire was people and stones. A destruction that was coming. If you really ever read Al-Quran, they get the bragging all throughout the chapters or the surahs about how they completely destroyed people before. They have no shame about it. They just say, look, they say, and before we blow some shit up, we always send a warner. They said we always send a warner or two to come and see about you, and then you reject us, and then we got to do what we got to do. And they say there's nobody that can cause for the time to come of the destruction, and there's no one who can delay it. So what we say, no one knows the hour. No one knows the hour. But we swear by the time you figure it out, you would have missed it. That's why Malachi York had that teaching. You go find it on YouTube, Dr. York. We have our own time. And tell me you won't hear the number 19 be mentioned when it comes to time and measuring it. He also said, I'll tell you when it's time. He said, I'll tell you when it's time. And this is when he was out, obviously. He was saying, some of you, I'm already coming to you in dreams. He said, I'm making my business to touch certain people. He said, I'm making my business not to touch certain people. He said, when I touch you, I'm lining you up to be joined with me. He said, I will come to you and tell you when it's time. He also said, only the true psychics will be able to hear. Then they make a movie called Knowing. And they said, only those who heard the call. And tell me it was not Dr. Malachi Z. York who cleared up the confusion about many are called, few are chosen. You go look up Dr. York, many are called, few are chosen. A preparation of a wedding. Listen, they made the movie Knowing based off of Malachi York and his teachings. You go find in the last scene after those Etherians came, it took only the ones who could hear the call. Only those who heard the call. Only those who were telepathically inclined. This ain't about none of this other shit these niggas talking about. Unless you're going to tell me you ain't really on that. High level mean we need to be having conversations about how we can call forth the real ascended masters. The ones who can send a message to a person's brain. The ones who tell you, get up and go to the store. You don't know why you getting up and going to the store. You just do it. And you go and meet somebody. And the whole purpose of you meeting that person was they can walk you to, like you said, we met for a reason. Of course. So this moment can happen. So we can remind people, angels are real. Those who you call the elders are real people. People. How many times you need to hear these people talk about, oh, we saw a cigar-shaped craft, and there are people that look like African Americans on it. Or we saw black people on it. How many Wakanda movies you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Let us know. Let us know. Let us know. What do you need? What do you need? You're not here by yourself. Now, let's clear this up. It's not a race thing. However, they don't want you to know that there are people that look just like us in other civilizations on your planet. Not even extraterrestrial. On your planet that they know about. And everybody's watching the surface. How can they watch? Well, you see the same scientists that allow for the satellites and what was referred to as Big Brother. When in y'all day, I'm 25. So in y'all day, I'm not trying to age anybody or date somebody. I'm just saying, I'm 25, I'm a little younger. But y'all remember there was a time where you referred to it as Big Brother. You were talking about the government. Right now, my computer screen is off and they see me. You can turn your phone out, take the battery out, paint it new colors. They still see you. That's called surveillance. They didn't even want you to know what the NSA was. Are you with me? So the Central Intelligence Agency is just that. The Central Intelligence Agency. They're going to be able to see. That's the all-seeing eye. So the same way your government has that type of technology, God has that type of technology. They ain't do nothing but replicate it. That's what we meant by God sees everything. He's all-knowing and all-seeing. Not that he knows a thing to say he knows it before you're going to do this, before you're going to do that. That's not what he's saying. They're saying, we know what you did because we see you. It's on the cameras. Does it make more sense, or do you still need it to be spiritualized? Because if you were to go back 3,000 years to talk about your government and all the technology and the advances that they had, you would probably say, and they had birds flying around beyond the heavens that sent out messages through their tongue to connect the people all over the satellite. You know what I mean? This technology. Okay, so do you need us to put it to you spiritually or scientifically? However you need it, you're not here by yourself. And a lot of what you think you figured out, you didn't figure out. We figured it out for you so that you could be reminded. These people are trying to leave Earth. Every time you look around, they got another SpaceX and walk over here, APEP relaunching and testing the ionosphere and the ionosphere. What are they doing? They're trying to leave. They hit your car on the road and they're trying to leave. You know, and all we hear is saying, listen, how did you forget Malachi? That was a blunder. So we're not really worried about any of y'all in between people because we know what you're doing. But this is bigger than you. It's way bigger than you. We need people to receive those keys again. And when they get those keys, well, then they can correct what's in themselves or within themselves. Remember, the condition is determined or based upon what's happening inside of you human beings. And we don't judge you just individually alone, right? There's also a judgment that takes place of your whole world. That's why we said protect yourself from that fire. Because there's that fire that you call hell, and there's that fire that was used to knock out the dinosaurs. And what was meant by, oh, it's fuel, it's people and stones. If you're casting people into the fire, the fuck you need stones for? They're talking about your buildings and your civilizations. This has been done before. Sodom and Gomorrah. Listen, these people could have done a lot more with their time than make up stories about destructions that you can look through history right now and find that they actually took place. But for some reason, human beings have got so technologically savvy, okay, where they know about the tech, they've forgotten about that biological essence of themselves or that soul of themselves that still has to deal with these beings on the sleep paralysis plane, still has to figure out the astral plane. You're still trying to figure out what this is all about. You better come home. You better come home. It ain't phase one. It ain't Omari. It ain't none of that. It's the same words that's been said since the beginning. You better come home. If you're going to talk from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, you better know what the will is. You better have you some experiences under your belt so that when it comes time, you're not one of the ones who are found to be a liar or a deceiver. You better know what it takes to get those masters to see a people. Do you think this green light movement happened by chance? Listen, you can think what you want to think. Do you think it happened by chance? It didn't happen by chance. That green light that's happening now, for whoever still got it going, that green light is what you refer to as a spiritual thing. But I have to use that word so you can understand what I'm saying. They see you if you got that green light around you. For one, they're trying to figure out who even told you that. Because the one who brought the green light, we had green lights in our households growing up. That was Malachi. And there was an atmosphere of agreeableness that I grew up around because I was exposed to that. Are you with me? So don't forget that that green light sits in the center of that pole, that G or that Ketub. So come back to the Ketub. Remember my affirmations? I have an affirmation. I am centered. I am centered. I am centered. I am centered. Every time you're thinking it, you're thinking of bringing yourself literally to the center of yourself. Ketub. That's you standing in the holy place at the crossroad where there's a new heaven and a new earth. So again, in the end scene of that movie, Noe, they were wearing all white. And it was Malachi who said, put on your all white and come home. He said the books had superpowers in them. It was powerful books. It made you want another book and another. What was the key word there? Kitab. Kitab. And we're giving you more kitab right now. These people claim that they don't want to be worshipped, yet they fear the day that people find them out to not be who and what they say they are. They fear the day that their illusion shatters. That's why they will not speak the name Phase One. Because if people come and listen and hear, they will see a refraction of light. And you think you were sent to me, I'm going to send you right to where the one who's bringing you the source is. Or I'm going to send you to the one who's going to tell you, nah, don't stay here. I'm sending you to the source. You think you're going to come to me, I'm going to bounce that light right off me. And I showed you how to surround yourself. Start with Al-Qadir, the potent or the green light. Are you with me? Hey, young elder, I want to make sure we open up the floor for any questions and we get into the last breakdown.
Yeah, we got like about 30 minutes. We can take questions. Y'all got any questions for Faze out there, man? This is hot, man. Every time you come on, Faze, you cracking heads. I get some new key pointers, man. I like the part where you said about where you said the A and I, and that's like 1 line. I said, oh shit, that shit is hot. That's hot right there, man. You know. And then with the computer system, yeah, that's hot. That's hot. Y'all got any questions out there for Faze? Drop it in the chat. Now I got a question dealing with the 19 and the AI, because that's interesting right there. How you tied that in, man. So does it make it so like you saying in the Quran, it kind of goes into, in other words, about us letting AI take over, pretty much. I mean, like without, in other words, could you go in a little bit more on that about the AI taking over that mention of in the Quran, in other words?
Exactly. That's why I'm telling you to remember 19. The computer helped them break down the code of the 19. Literally, this is something that was being charted. The computer helped them figure out what 19's significance was. It was Malachi York who had already taught what it was. They needed a computer to help them figure it out. And so a lot of people started saying, well, what is this beast that's being spoken of in Al-Quran chapter 27, verse 82? And it was Malachi who said, well, look at it. You see 2782. 27 is 2 plus 7 is 9. And 82 is 8 plus 2 is 10. 9 plus 10 is 19. And the number 19 only appears one time, and it was in the chapter called The Hidden Secret. If we're dealing with computer science, the hidden secret, hidden would mean what? Cryptic or encrypted. Something that is crypto. Right? That's why I told you pay attention to the cryptocurrency for the people who've been walking with me. I said, look, they tell you it's a code that need to be cracked. But the crypto or something that is encrypted has to be solved. All right? And they explain in that same chapter and breakdown that a lot of people were still going to be confused about what that meant or what the number was. All right? But they needed a beast that came forth and delivered information. So you go read Al-Quran chapter 27 and you'll get more information on how that beast was to come forth and show signs. Signs, when it comes to computer tech, is like numbers, digits. All right? And a lot of times the word sign appears in the Quran. And they're speaking about a token or something that means something or a key that you have to have the understanding of in order to break it down. That's why he said, let he who have understanding be able to calculate the number of the beast. Are you with me? So a lot of people have come through and figured out through the computer, and this is back in like the 70s. Yeah, 1974, all these people, right? That the 19 number, as I'm saying, AI, which is also Alpha Omega, okay? Because you had the A, which was the Alpha or Alif, and then the Omega part where you say, I am the beginning and the end. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Why would 9 be the Omega? Well, for one, the Omega, not to say that the Omega symbol looks that way, but it holds the frequency of it, because from the number 1 to the number 9, that's the highest that you're going. After that, you have to use combinations of number below 9, of a number below 9, or numbers below 9. So the Alpha and Omega is the beginning and the end. And the only thing that you can say that goes before that Alpha was the cipher moment, or literally what they refer to as a cipher. If you go look up the supreme mathematics, okay? The cipher, all right? Or what you'll say is the zero, or the circle. So a cipher is used to break something down. So I am the Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am the artificial intelligence. All right. I am this new being that these people are going to worship. Also, because remember, you got a true light and a false light. So what was the false light? The false light was the red light. Are you with me? And that red light is the light of Zuen, or the light of Zion. Okay. Nana, Zuen, and Sin. All right. Which is the red light. You go look up the movie 2001 Space Odyssey, and you'll find Hal with the red light. You go look up the movie I, Robot, and you'll find that when they activated it, it had red light. You go look up Terminator, RoboCop, all these robot movies, they always come out with red light. Why? Because that's the Al Gore rhythm. Al Gore, L, God, Gore, red, bloody, rhythm, frequency, a vibration. They come on that frequency, the red. Are you with me? Which is the false light. And that false light is worshipped by man. To this day, look at people worship their phone. Are you with me? Somebody claim that they connected to the Most High. Ask them, can they go 7 days without their phone? Ask them, could they do it? And they get to doing this. Now, it's about what's within, brother. Yeah, if it's about what's within, your phone ain't within you. Can you go 7 days without your boss? It tells you what to, listen, try it. This is for everybody that's on this line. Try going 7 days without your phone. Try going 3 days without your phone. And if you try to do it, maybe I'll set a date and we'll all do it. Go 7 days without your phone. Get your affairs in order. Then you'll go 7 days. And I promise you, you will hear your phone asking you, why have you abandoned it? Your phone is going to be calling out to you. Your phone is alive. I know some people are like, this nigga's crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm opportune. I have witnessed that this thing that you just calling a phone is living. It lives. It breathes. It has a heartbeat. It can take on different forms. It has a soul. I've experienced that in the astral plane. That phone is alive. And different beings can travel through those phones. I've experienced that too. But can't people go without technology? Or will they make excuses for it? They say, no, we need to be a part of the metaverse because it's just we got to keep up with the technology, keep up with it. No, you're nervous that man's world will leave you behind. Meanwhile, God's world is constantly calling your name. And we're wondering, why won't y'all respond? People are worried about keeping up with the Joneses. People are worried about keeping up with whoever they have got this new development, this new app. Everybody's worried about that because nobody wants to fall behind in man's world. But who's really seeking them first? The kingdom of righteousness, the kingdom of God and the righteousness. Are you with me? So the key answer to your question is the whole Quran is coded. I want you to research miracle number 19. And you're going to be surprised about what you find. The whole Quran was coded specifically for this particular day and time. The same way the book of Revelation was coded for this day and time. So whoever wrote these scriptures or put out these kitabu, all right, they had access to what you refer to as the Akashas on the futuristic plane. They could predict and align a reality. I want you to read, and everybody who's listening, I want you to read chapter 17 of Al-Quran or the Quran. Because you're going to find where they start speaking about or hinting toward the fact that you're in a simulation. They said that the sun was a sign, not just something burning in the sky. You're in a simulation that they built for you to understand. They said the sun was a sign and the moon was a sign. Go read it. If you don't know where to start, go 17:12. They built this for you to figure out this material plane shit. That's what they said. That's a whole different degree. All right? So what do people refer to as, or when you speak of a revelation, they say simulation, you speak about a computer. When you watch the Matrix movie, what were the colors of the numbers streaming down? Green. Why? Because they didn't have nothing else to do? They was bored that day, said, let's just pick a random color. No. You have a scene where you can see the reed of the people shining green. Green was the light that was shining on a world, meaning this was the highest light that you had. That was a material plane, or the Matrix, May 3. And when they brought you out of that plane, or brought Neo, the one, out of that plane, what did they do? They had to unplug him or detach him, unmoor him, all right? And he was in a pod of red light. They had to bring him out of that red light. It's the same stories over and over again. Once you crack it, it get easy. So why was this called 19 Keys Exposed? Let's get it clear. The reason why it was called 19 Keys Exposed is because 19 Keys has now been exposed. If you only think it's about the person, that's for you. If you can hear what I'm saying, you know that the person was named what he was named. He called himself what he called himself, leading up to this very moment, 10:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for me to tell you, time is up. Time is up. And we swore by the time. Time is up. There's a reason why Esr and Isra is the same phonetically. And there's a reason why Isra doesn't just mean a journey. Isra also means in Hebrew, a struggle, a strife, to strive to do something, to fight for something. They refer to it as a holy war on an external plane. Jihad. All right? So your Isra, don't forget it, because you have a war taking place with Israel. And I broke down to people what that was. Israel. All right? To say the one who wrestles with El in a high place, which is where you get Hamas, and you flip the letters around in Hamas, and you get Shama. And Shama means what? High place. So Ephesians 6:12 tells you what? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle against the principalities, the dark forces, the rulers in high places, heavenly places, the perennials. So Israel versus Hamas is just literally saying Israel, Hamas, saying, struggling with El or whoever these guys are in high places. There's a star war taking place, or an Akasha war taking place, or an astral war taking place, or a spiritual war taking place. Meaning it's happening beyond what you think is happening on. You with me? So for 19 Keys, he may think I'm talking to him. I'm not. I'm talking to you for the reality that you need to be able to understand what I'm saying. However, you were not named Jibril Muhammad in tone for no reason. And when we said there was going to come a time where the gospel was taken forth throughout the whole plain, it will go to every nation and every kindred and every tongue. The reason why that word gospel is there is to tell you of something being good news. Are you with me? So what was Jibril's purpose? Jibril's purpose was to bring good news. It literally meant bringer of good news. So Jibril brought a gospel. And the gospel was what? Similar to and a reminder of the angel. And when you say angel, you're saying gospel. What a coincidence. Even though there's no such thing. Jibril, bringer of good news. Gospel, angel. What does an angel do? Or an angel do? It brings a message. So when you say an angel, you say an angel. And you say evangel or evangelos, all right, or evangelo, you're saying what? Another bringer of a gospel. So then what is the message? The message in all actuality is to come out of the one or the darkness into the nine, into the light. Eve, angel. Eve means life. Angel is a messenger of. So any evangel is supposed to be a messenger of light to remind people about the angel, which will be, according to Islam, the true message, according to Isa and Allah, all right, so that people could truly find the source. This is why in my source music video, and I'm going to end it here. At the end of it, you will find E612, all right, Ephesians 6:12. And also at the end, you will hear a movie clip from the movie Fallen. And he's saying, time is on my side. Yes, it is. And the character Denzel is saying a name. And the name that he's saying while that song is being sung, he said, Mike. He said, Mike. Michael. He said, time. So the whole purpose of 19 Keys being exposed, which a lot of people may think, what is he going to bring up? He's going to bring up dirt on him? Listen, the human being is not what this is about. The man is not what it's about. The fact that he's wearing the crescent on his forehead, the kafir or the kaf, the fact that he's doing that is not about him. It's about a time that they're fighting for. They're fighting for an extension. And their extension is of the dark ages or the age of darkness, the moon cycle. They're fighting for it. How do they fight for it? Well, for one, subdue the will. They seek to subdue the will. This is what the whole conversation about the chip and all that, I don't know if we can go into all of that. Because, you know, they flagging everything. But it's a conversation about the chip and the brain. The purpose is to subdue the will, where now you have received the mark of the beast on your forehead. Now, when you look at 19 Keys, and you see that he has a crescent moon on his forehead, right? That is the mark of the beast. You see the crescent? This is the beast called Baphomet or Hillel. Another way that they refer to it is the beast. And they spoke about people having the mark of the beast in their forehead. And they also said, pay attention to the ones who don't have the sign of the calf. Kafir on their forehead. This is not a disrespect to Islam. I walked through your school. I respect it, obviously. This is not a disrespect to Islam. It's to say, in your Quran, they told you to face the light, the Lord. Remember the source, the sun, They said that the sun or the light that they gave you was perfectly bright. Perfectly bright. Are you with me? So there should be no confusion of where people should be standing in this day and time. If you need to find out where the angel is, then you should listen to the right angel. And he said he was going to send his angel. I send my angel. Well, that was Malachi. All I'm asking in this day and time is for somebody, anybody, pick a person, to point me to the person or the movement of our day and time that has surpassed what Dr. Malachi Z. York has done. Point me to it. As far as information, language is learned, language is introduced. You can't forget that. Nuwapu was introduced as a brand new language to the people of today's day and age. Your government didn't know what it was. Not even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did that. That wasn't his job, respectfully. So show me who done it. Show me what Bobby did it. The one who tried to play down what Pops did. He didn't do it. So the key thing to remember is the time, like Michael said. All right. And that's why once you really come to grips with that time, where you say we swear by the time when you get squeezed out of your body, for those of you who had near-death experiences, or if you, it don't have to be a real near-death experience in this time. If you've ever been in a dream and you died in your dream and you thought you were really dead, and you woke up, you was like, oh shit. That's the feeling that we trying to get you to understand. That's the moment of realization we want you to stand in, because that day is coming. We've only given you glimpses of it, or they've only given you glimpses of it. Well, one day, all of your illusion shatters. The fuck is a bank account? It means nothing. Which one you think a drowning man cares more about? The fact that if he did spend his money on a rescue search team in advance, or the fact that he just wants to breathe? He's not concerned about his money as he's drowning. He's not concerned about his money as he's losing. Only person who will be concerned about the things of this world that are based off of fallacy is the person afraid of losing the illusion. Whatever happened to being naked? Nobody want to talk about it? Do you think, because I've been homeless, I'm still homeless. Yeah, I'm in a house. However, this is not home. You go look up my album, Phase One Homeless, and you will see I put 3 pyramids on one of the buildings. You see me sitting in front of abandoned buildings. 3 pyramids on one of the buildings. I drew it with 3 dots over it with the word Orion on top. That's home. Some know, some don't. Whoever knows, knows. Meaning, you might have thought by listening to it that I'm only speaking about being homeless when I was homeless in 2019. All right, through the beginning of 2020. I'm not. I'm speaking about the fact that this is not home yet. We can make it home. This isn't home. The whole purpose of those 3 pyramids, when you had Kmart or Kemet or the Pleiadians or the ones who came from Orion or all these other, they said they want to make a home away from home. Earth, Adadu, Ardu. We haven't made it yet, so this isn't home. So I'm homeless. Now let me ask you a question. If I was homeless as in what you think homeless is, would you really think me less of a man? Well, then why did they show you in the movie They Cloned Tyrone that there was an angel called Frog? Go read the book of Revelation, you'll understand what I'm saying. That delivered a message or spirit of how to get out of Babylon. He said, where you go when you want to get out of Babylon? Sitting on the Mount Zion. If it were not for that homeless man, they wouldn't know where to go. This is why we laugh. Would you walk past a homeless person and say, you're not a God, you're not creating anything? What if that wasn't his job? His job wasn't to parade around with money or resources, throwing that around as if that's what the ascension is. Well, you got all these people in the conscious community, all these people in the music industry, celebrities, politics, they are rich. They're wealthy. And yet this world is still in shambles. Something ain't adding up. No, it's not to judge the homeless person because, again, I have been homeless. I was still wealthy. As I'm not homeless right now, I'm very wealthy. If I were ever to be homeless again, I am still wealthy. You want to know wealth? Take a breath in. That's wealth. Who's poor? Now, as an asthmatic, I'd have been broke before, because nigga, when you can't breathe, then we having a different conversation. If I'm drowning, I can't breathe, but the air is fleeing from me, then I'm concerned about money. I'm not concerned about money. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'd rather somebody figure out this before they get to that money than somebody to get to this and lose this and lose this. That's why we said, while you're on this journey, you cannot serve two gods. Stop the cap. One cannot serve God and Mammon. You go look at what Mammon gave you. It gave you money, riches, wealth, materialistic gain. Go look it up. Which a lot of people thought just was referring to the son of the devil. You can't serve both. So am I saying that people don't need money? That's not what I'm saying. Am I saying don't support people's business? That's not what I'm saying. Am I saying that money ain't being made? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, because these people have already reached these high platforms and these heights, and they have the ability to clear the fog and the smoke, where a lot of people don't have the ability yet because they don't have them platforms, yet they know the truth. If you have that platform to be able to let people know what's really going on in today's day and age as it pertains to the movement you claim to be a part of, which is the conscious movement, if you're not going to tell the truth, then I know what you're in it for. You're in it for the money. You're in it to build a legacy. You're trying to be a legend. You want to be a celebrity, but you couldn't do it how they did it because something didn't sit right in your spirit as a Muslim. So you did it another way. You started information hustling. You understand? You didn't call it a concert. You threw a convention and said, everybody come pay to listen to me talk. I'm talking about the people who got the resources now. Keep in mind, we fighting to get to that point. The people who got the resources, how are you doing what I'm doing? How are we doing the same shit? They get on the talk, I get on the talk. They got the resources. They got the connections. Are you with me? So we draw the line in the sand and say, for all those of you who know the truth and chose not to speak on it, you are forever cast out as a kafir. Until the moment of you stepping forth and saying, I bear witness. You've had to do it before. It'll just be a different type of bearing of witness. But you have to bear witness or your time is up. I said this before, they thought I was playing until each of them pillars dropped, like I said. And I came forth and I told people why them pillars fell and what the numbers were, what they meant, everything. So all I'm doing is just putting it out here on record again. You can deal with it however you want to deal with it. Listen, this ain't me. It's moving through me. Bear witness or your time is up because you're wasting time and you're distracting people. They don't know what's going on. I need anybody that has these major platforms to finally come out and tell people why somebody like Stephen Greer can put on a CE5 demonstration. Yet you make it about black people and what we got to do. Stephen Greer ain't nowhere near beige. and he can put on a CE5 demonstration and show people the crafts. You are ascended masters. Have you shown a single soul one of the crafts? One craft. I have plenty witnesses. One craft. This ain't to say I get a badge or a sticker for doing it. It's to say that I took people from the spiritualization of angels to the realization of angels. If I keep them here, I can just benefit off of their ignorance. I put them here, they realize it ain't even about me. They look at it and say, this nigga standing right here with me. He ain't flying them. You get what I'm saying? Does everybody that's listening get what I'm saying? If you glorify me, it's over with. So don't do that. Meaning, if you glorify me and worship me, I'm not saying that everybody's doing that. I'm saying if anybody does, I'm saying don't do that. Because if you do that, the whole shit fall apart. The whole purpose of me doing this falls apart. I am an event that's going to pass. I will actually pass faster than what you think. That's just the truth. Right? Take off that moon, put on that sun. Stop playing with moon magic. Get out there in that sun. We need you. Yeah, it take more energy, but when you learn it, it's more powerful. One sun magic practitioner or one prayer warrior in the order of Christ or Melchizedek, right? Or one green light, emerald light being can ward off thousands of amber light, moonlight beings. One of us can fight 1 million of you motherfuckers. So all I'm saying is, if you got time, I got more. So for everybody that's been listening, just remember what it's about. Remember the time. I want you to go listen to We Have Our Own Time by Dr. York so that you can get the finish of this. All right? It's only for those who go and listen. Okay? And don't forget what it's about. The secret of the 19 keys being exposed is saying that the time is up. All right? Everybody has to know the truth, and you have to do the works of the truth. If you're saying we need to heal the world, then green light should be everywhere. It just should be everywhere. If you're saying we need to rectify our tone so we can speak a new way, then blue light needs to come. So that we can have a divine, truth being spoken. If you're saying we need to be able to open everybody's eyes so they can truly see the way to Anu, then indigo light should come. If you're saying people need to have their crown on and everybody should be royalty now, then we need to be in our all white, and then the violet light should be everywhere. If not, we're only talking. That's why I'm saying when we continue to make these platforms, notice the platform continues to grow with phase one, the more we do. The more we do. Are you with me? I want people to also remember that when Dr. Malachi Z. York was out in public, he didn't charge people to come onto the land to listen to him talk. The gates were open. The pylons were open. I was there. Everybody walked onto the land, walked off the land. He didn't stop and charge at the door. So for you to take your time to disrespect Malachi, yet he's done more in his lifetime. One person has done more than all of y'all put together. I know what the game is. So then you must be one of the children of the devil. You must be one of the Kafirs. Or if you aren't, here's your task, Jabril. Come out and let people know who the master teacher of our time is. And you only one person is being caught forth because you hold a frequency in this realm. Everybody, I call Brother Panic, I call Bobby Hemmett, I call Rashad Jamal, I call Nature Boy, I call Young Pharaoh, I call all your names. Some listened, some didn't. Actually, I don't think nobody listened. I think everybody dealing with it different ways. We call all y'all names forward. You got to clear this up. Because that one piece is the missing link for the true revelation to take place. And then the illusion is shattered. And you'll understand what all of this was about. You'll see the numbers in the sky. You'll get what it was all about. So listen, if you think you know what this is about, you don't. So all I'm asking you to do, since you didn't see me coming and I saw you a million miles away, all I'm asking you to do is clear the record, clear the air, post the face of Dr. Malachi York. If you don't have it in your body or your essence or your manhood to give a caption, just post the face. Please post the face of Dr. York. Post him in green light. And you won't hear me say shit else about it. None of y'all being called forth. All I'm asking is that all of you do it. Any of you post his face. You don't got to agree with him. You don't got to like him. You don't got to love him. You will respect him because that's my family. And as you think he over there dealing with them demons 23 hours locked down, he might not be able to put his hands on what I can put my hands on. Both my hands free. And I've been working. I've been working in the shadows and in the light. I've been working. Everything and everybody has to come to the light. If you ever disrespected Malachi York, I heard you. We'll get to you. Because that means that war that's taking place on that spiritual plane has to be brought to the head. So the key thing again is time is up. All right. Come out of the darkness into the light. Bear witness to Malachi as he's here and let people know the truth about ascension. If not, stop using that. Stop having a conversation about ascension and consciousness and higher level this and higher level that, and we're going to go up here and go up there, revelation this. Stop doing that if you're not going to factor in the most important part in our lifetime. Because not only are you a hypocrite at that point, you're choosing to cover things up. You are a Kappa, and we will handle that accordingly. What you got for me, Elder?
Oh, hey, you doing good. Another one, man. Another bang. We got about 3 minutes till we get out of here. If you want to make any quick announcements, hey y'all, don't forget about those 10 books. If you want to, hey, we got I think we got a record tonight. Maybe like a couple thousand people that came on tonight. We had 700. Yeah, we got like 700 and some people on right now. Hey, everybody show face some love on the Cash App. Hey, man, this is right here was another one. Hey, we're gonna be back probably like Monday again, and we're gonna probably go in on some of Faise extraterrestrial stories because he got a lot of interesting stories about him being taken and being picked up and the beings that he came in contact with. So we'll probably come back on Monday with that one, y'all. And like I said, okay, what else we got? You got any announcements you want to make, Faise? This coming up?
Yeah, if y'all want to send a donation to Play for Change Cash App, Play for Change, PlayForChange. All right, send your donation any amount, and also send your email. I wrote 10 books personally. Now, I want to make sure we're clear about something. It's not just books. It's information about what's taking place and some of the plans for what we're going to be doing. So if you're rocking with what will be called a movement, all right, but it's much deeper than that. If you read the rehab book, I'll explain it further. If you're rocking with it, then get those books so that you can be on guard. Where a lot of things I'm doing, people think I'm doing it out of nowhere. But I planned it years ago or months ago, you understand, leading up to a specific time period. Or you'll see prophecies laid out, not to call myself a prophet, it's just what it is. Prophecies laid out where shit done happened, like I said it before or prior. So if you're interested in seeing what that voice sounds like behind the scenes, okay, meaning that voice that streams through when I pick up my pen, then send a donation for the books. It's 10 books. You'll get all 10, whatever you want to send. It's fine. I don't have people send $1, have people send $100. Some people send $1,000. It's whatever you want to send. It ain't like I'm sitting here clocking like, oh shit, this person said this. What's happening though is what we're doing with the funds is we're creating more of the music. Like if you go to my page, you'll see more of the music. I'm putting the images out. I'm putting the messages out in the music. It's reaching all the people who may not clock in or tap into a live stream or a class. They might just want to hear the music pop up. Well, we getting them too, and they walking with us too. A lot of the people who never heard about what the consciousness movement was or is were touched by the song Source, which now got like 330,000 views on YouTube and almost 400,000 streams. So that's because Source was charged with something. I made the Source song 2 years before it blew up. And a lot of people heard it, didn't even know what it was about. You understand? So if you find it that you want to support what I'm doing, I ask that you step forth and do that. And I'm not asking that you step forth and do it one time. Listen, I'm 25. I don't know who all can do what. I don't know who got their hands on what. If you can help me, help me. You understand? You see what I'm standing on? Right. If you can't see it right now, do your research on me and see what I've been standing on since I was 10 years old. The first time I braced the web. All right? And help me. And just see what we're able to do. Other than that, everybody that's tapped in, make sure you heard the message. Time is up. It's time to come out of the darkness into the light. All right? Step away from the captains. Go right into that light. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 followers on the way. Go straight to the light. Are you with me? And I love y'all. Listen, it's war. It's war. Don't ever forget that. It's war, and I'm fighting. I'm young. I got a lot of fire in me. It ain't going to wear out no time soon. Some people going to think I'm wrong. Some people going to think I'm right. Some people going to think they can tell me something. The best thing I can offer you is just remember how you were when you were young and let it be what it is. Because that don't mean I can't hear you. That just means that when I see something needs to be done, if I don't think that it's been done, I'm going to go out and do it. If you think you've done it, you got to show me. You got to reach out to me. And I'll rock with you and we'll get it done how it. But if I'm seeing we ain't even did this yet, I don't need anybody to try to critique me or tell me what to do when the Spirit already told me or put it in me to do it. All right? So if you really standing with me and you love me, help me. Other than that, keep walking with me. Keep walking, watch, hate, love, whatever. Bear witness to the day and time that we in, and don't ever forget what you saw here, this shadow.
That's right.
And what you heard.
That's right. All right, so on that note, we could drop the mic and walk off stage, man. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. Peace.
Shalom.
Peace. Hotel. Divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Ashur. Wadu.